All right, so I've been wanting to talk about this for a while. As you guys know, your boy is an avid DOA lover. We love Dead or Alive over here on this channel. It is one of the main fighting games that I play. It is one of my favorite fighting game series of all time. And most of my videos are Dead or Alive gameplay videos or discussion videos, but the most popular videos are all about DOA, right? So you guys should know how important Dead or Alive is to me and to this channel. You guys should also know how important Dead or Alive is to the culture of fighting games in general, but I feel like the reason that most people don't really get that or look down on DOA is because of the fan service. So for today's video, I want to talk about, should fan service even be in fighting games? If it's going to have a similar effect to what it has on DOA, which is kind of a negative effect, or making the fans of that franchise all seem like degenerates or gooners is what the kids use nowadays, but you get the idea. Now, here's the thing, right? Dead or Alive always gets looked down on for having fan service, but I feel like it's a bit unfair because fan service exists in other fighting games. Fan service exists in Street Fighter. Fan service exists in Tekken. Fan service exists in Mortal Kombat, and yet no one looks down on those franchises for it. And I'm not saying they should, because honestly, I love fan service. We love fan service. There's nothing wrong with fan service. There's nothing wrong with looking sexy, you know, and it's not just for girls, right? It's not just, oh, the girl characters have sexy bodies, they have big titties, they got fat asses, they got skimpy clothing. It's not just girls getting fan service or girl characters in fighting games getting fan service. It's the guys too. FYI, not every guy on the planet has Ryu's body. Not every guy on the planet is just born with gigantic muscles and a chiseled tone body like Heihachi. Like, it's just not the average male body type. That is not what we all look like. I hate to inform you guys, or should I say the girls, because, you know, that's what that fan service would be for. But yeah, not all guys look like that. If every guy in a fighting game had a realistic body to, you know, just average guys, we would see a lot less simps for characters like Hwoarang, Dragunov, and Tekken. I remember when Cody first came out, like his trailer dropped for him to be coming to Street Fighter 5, and all the girls were like, oh my god, he looks so hot. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I don't think anybody would be simping for these characters if their bodies weren't, you know, looking kind of nice, looking kind of built like the way they are. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I think attraction of a character is important for both male and female characters. You know, a lot of people like to look down on others for wanting to play a character just because you're attracted to them, or people say you can't play them just because you're attracted to them. Yet those same people will also agree that stories aren't important in fighting games. So if the story of the character isn't important, then what the fuck else is there other than the appearance? Like, why else would you want to play them? And yeah, there's their play style, and you can say like, maybe I like this play style more than this one, or maybe this fits me more than this, but that's kind of after you've already chosen a character you want to play. So what's gonna make you initially choose that character? Probably if you like their design, if you're attracted to their design, if they're attractive to you. And even then, playstyle, like a lot of that stuff comes down to you learning the character, right? You can adjust to a character's playstyle if you really want to learn it and stick with them. You can't really adjust to a character's design if you're not attracted to it. You know, if you don't like how a character looks and they look ugly to you, and I don't mean like ugly as in, you know, their body or their face. Like, I mean, they could be an ugly character as in, you know, someone like Baraicho who just fucking farts and shits and, you know, burps. Like, it's just not something you want to be doing. Maybe you're really good with them because maybe they're easy to play to you. They're easy for you to pick up, but that doesn't mean you want to play them because something about their design, their aesthetic, their personality, whatever, is just ugly to you. It's unattractive to you, you know? So yeah, playstyle aside, if the story doesn't matter, what's the main reason you're gonna want to play a character? It's their appearance, right? Like, let's stop acting like it's such a bad thing to want to play a character that you think looks cool, or that you think looks pretty, or that you think looks attractive in some way. Because guess what? you're gonna be looking at this character a lot if you decide to main them in a fighting game. So why wouldn't you want to be attracted to them in some way, you know? If you don't like how they look, it's gonna wanna make you play them less. So yeah, this is why I would argue that fan service can be a good thing. And not only is it a good thing, but I think also like cosmetics and being able to customize the look of your character is kind of important too. Like in case you don't like their base look, but they have a costume that looks amazing. And let's say you like the playstyle of that character, but you never really could get behind the way they looked in their base default design. So you just never really wanted to try them because you knew you didn't want to be caught playing a character that looks like that, right? But now we get this costume that makes them actually look sick, and you're like, oh, okay, now I kind of want to play them because they look cool, right? You could kind of argue in a sense that giving the characters in the game a costume that actually appeals to you, that attracts you to them more, is fan service. It doesn't always have to be, you know, big titties, bikinis, you know, shirtless, facial hair, like things that are just sexy. And even if it is, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it could also be fan service to give a character like a goth costume, you know, or a costume that is kind of like, you know, very attractive for people that isn't just like, you know, the typical bikinis or whatever, you know? Like a lot of people are into the whole goth Lolita like dress type of thing, or like the Japanese schoolgirl, right? Like, you know, it's just a different look for the character, but you might be really into that particular design that makes you want to now play a character if they can be in that costume or be in that look, right? And then it also kind of solves that issue of not liking the way the character looks if you like a character's playstyle but don't like how they look. And I think that just allows for people to, you know, play more characters and play characters they actually want to play. Because let's face it, looks do matter when it comes to video games. If this wasn't the case, people wouldn't have gone so hard on hating on Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, right? Everybody said the gameplay was great, but it looked garbage, and so it failed. So looks do kind of matter. And I'm not even saying that they matter to me specifically, but I just feel like it's annoying when people are so quick to be on this train of like, yeah, looks do matter. This game looked garbage, so fuck this game. But yet, when it comes to fan service in a fighting game and how a character looks, it's like, oh, you only play that character because they're attractive to you? Like, oh, you're not a real fighting game player. Like, you know, it's like, bro, like, of course you're gonna want to play a character that stands out to you, that you like their design, you know, like, obviously. And it's like, people, I think, like to associate fan service so much with like, you know, the sex appeal and, you know, bikini costumes and stuff. It's like, well, yeah, everybody likes titties, everybody likes ass, everybody likes women, but that doesn't mean that's all of what fan service consists of, you know? It's just the most popular thing that everybody kind of likes, you know? And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, why are there people that act like there's something wrong with it? Like, it's just so, it's like, oh, you don't like women? You don't like ass? You don't like titties? I'm sorry, I just can't relate, bro. Like, I don't know what to say. It's like, you didn't know that sex sells? Well, I've got news for you. Sex has been selling since the dawn of time. Like, you know, and it's not even in just fighting games, right? I mean, this is the primary reason and discussion for this video is fan service in fighting games, but like fan service exists in everything. Sex appeal exists in everything. Like I said, sex sells. We got fan service in Marvel Rivals. All the women in that game look fucking gorgeous, and there's nothing wrong with that. Why wouldn't I want to look at a sexy female character design when I'm playing the game? Like, what would be the point of making all the male and female characters in the game ugly? Like, what would be the point? Oh, there's no fan service now, so now if you play them, you must be a true fan. But like, who the fuck cares? What is the fucking point of making everybody ugly? Like, explain that to me, bro. And like, I hate how when you have one female character that looks good in a video game, everybody says, oh, this character's for the gooners, you know, or it's like, oh, everybody's gonna simp for her, like, she's for the simps. And it's like, I don't know, to me, I kind of hate that because it's like, it makes it seem like, you know, women in real life don't want to play as attractive women in video games. It's like, bro, that's just not true. Like, if a baddie I know in real life wants to play Street Fighter, she probably is gonna want to play as a baddie too, so she can actually resonate, you know what I'm saying? Like, she can actually relate to her character. You know, she a baddie, she want to play as a baddie. Like what, like, how is that such a foreign concept to people? Like, you think women don't want to play as good-looking women in video games too? Like, is that so wrong? Like, am I missing something? You think I don't want to play as a good-looking guy? You think I want Kazuya to be no muscles, no tone definition in his body, looking ugly as fuck, no like teeth loss? Like, bro, no. Like, yeah, I want my Ryu to be fucking buff as hell. I want my Kazuya to be fucking ripped as shit, muscles chiseled, scar on the chest. Like, bro, like if they made all the girl characters flat and ugly to avoid people quote unquote gooning, then yeah, I don't think a lot of women that play fighting games would like that either. And another thing, if you're still on the fence of like fan service isn't just sex appeal, you know, big ass, big tits, revealing clothing, like if you still don't think that fan service can consist of more than just that, then my counter argument would be Juri in Street Fighter 6. This character, I kind of don't like what they've done with Juri because I love Juri. Juri's been my favorite fighting game character for the longest time. She damn near got me into fighting games. I've always liked her because I think she's really cool. She's got that sadistic personality. Her fighting style is really cool. Her design is really cool. She's really hot, you know, etc. But in Street Fighter 6, they kind of turned her character into a fan service character for guys that are into feet. And I am not one of those guys. I am not a foot guy or not into any kind of foot fetish at all. So because they've kind of now geared this character towards foot guys or any person that's into feet, it's kind of weird. I don't really like it, to be honest. I still love the character, obviously, but it is kind of a bit much. And to me, it's a fan disservice because I am a fan of Juri, but I did not want to see her feet as much as they've been kind of putting it in my face in Street Fighter 6. But again, that's just because the fan service that they are using Juri for does not apply to me. It's not for me, but it is something other than, you know, the typical, what you would expect from fan service, like revealing clothing, you know, sexy bodies, etc., etc. Because fan service can consist of more than just that, and it's not exactly for everyone. It can be geared towards a specific audience, like kind of how I was mentioning before. And yeah, in this instance, I feel like this fan service that they gave to Juri just isn't really for me, but I know it's for someone. So to say that fan service is just this one thing just because it's typically associated with, you know, sex appeal and sexy bodies and stuff like that, that's just not true. I could go a little bit deeper even with how they use fan service in like anime. Like, for example, Dragon Ball. A lot of times, Dragon Ball itself just feels like fan service, right? Like, we just want to see these characters go crazy, power up, scream, go into new transformations, and beat the hell out of each other with these amazing fights. And that's kind of what they give us, you know? Like, sometimes the story might be a little lacking just so that they can give us what the fans really want, which is to see these really entertaining battles, these new transformations, all this stuff, you know, and that's fine, right? Like, I think there's certain moments like in anime where you're like, oh my God, I really want this to happen. I really want this to happen. Like, as a fan of that series, and it feels like sometimes the writer or the creator ends up giving us that, right? Like, an example I can think of would be the final battle with Naruto and Sasuke, where they do have that final clash at the very end. It kind of feels like, yeah, maybe they didn't have to have that for the actual story to end, but they did have it. And I feel like if you're a Naruto fan, you know you really wanted to see one last battle between Naruto and Sasuke at the final battle. You know what I mean? Like, you know the Naruto fan in you wanted to see it, and they gave it to us, and that's great. In some ways, you could kind of count that as a fan service, but yeah, it's not the same thing as revealing clothing, you know, whatever. It's still a service to the fans though, and yeah, I think there's definitely different ways to define fan service, and it's not just one particular thing. So I'm really curious what you guys think, or if you guys think any differently about anything I had to say in this video. Please let me know in the comments below, because I would really like to know. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video and anything I had to say, please leave a like on the video and subscribe while you're at it, because over here on this channel, we talk about fighting games all the time, and you know, I'm a huge fighting game fan, also a huge anime fan. So yeah, I love making this type of content for you guys. But with that being said, that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. And as always, hopefully, I will catch y'all in the next one.